Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Cone Handmade. So today we're going to be making this really easy and beautiful kimono that is made using Ankara and aso-oke. This is really easy to make and it's also fast. So without wasting much of your time, let's get straight into the video. Here's the lovely Ankara fabric that we'll be using. What I have here is less than 2 yards, okay? And this is the aso-oke fabric we'll be using. I think that you should get the full pack the way it comes in the market. What you're seeing here is half a pack, but I had to go back to get more. So to begin, my fabric is folded in half. This is the folded edge, and on the other side is the 4 layers of the fabric. You know how we do it. Fold in half the first time and then fold in half again. So that's the folding into 4. Now, first thing we need to get sorted out is the length of the sleeve and the dress length. Now, in order to fold your fabric, first thing you need to determine is how long you want the sleeves to be. Now, to decide that, you need to first factor in the width of your aso-oke piece. So for me, the width of my aso-oke is around 6 inches. Okay, so let's just say 6 inches. Now, you're going to add this 6 inches, or rather you're going to subtract this 6 inches from your desired sleeve length. Do you understand? So let's say now for me, what I have here on fold is, because you know you're going to add the aso-oke at the end. So let me just show you. Okay, so when I measured this, okay, now don't forget I already did all these calculations behind, like off camera. So here what you're seeing on fold is roughly 16.5 inches. Now this is not going to be the full length of my sleeve, because to these 16 inches, to this 16.5 inches, we are going to add the aso-oke, just as you saw in the beginning. There's aso-oke added to the sleeve. So this 22 inches is going to be my full sleeve length. All this is optional. You decide what you want and then you go ahead and do the calculations. So you're also going to do the same thing for the hem of the dress, because there's aso-oke attached at the end of the kimono. All right, I hope this is explanatory enough and we can start now. Okay, so the first thing always, as usual, is to mark the starting line at the top, which is going to be our shoulder line. And here I'm taking the measurements for the neck. I use 3 inches for the neck width, and I'm using 1.5 inches for the back neck depth. I'm going to connect those points like this, while for the front neck depth I am going to use 8 inches. So I'll just quickly mark the point down there, and then I'm going to connect it to the neck width with a slant line. Okay, now that we've done that, we'll come to the shoulder line, and since we're using up the entire fabric, there's no point marking the sleeve here. Okay, so I'll just go down from that edge by 1 inch to mark the shoulder slope. Connect the shoulder slope to the neck width by a slant line this way. Okay, now we're done with that area. We'll come back to this folded edge here, and we're going in by 1.5 inches. Remember, there's Ankara attached, sewn around the collar down to the end of the kimono. So this is where we're going to do that. Now, the next thing I did was to determine the length of the kimono. So remember, 6 inches, or rather 6.5 inches for the aso-oke, and so I want the full kimono length to be 42 inches. So now I'm going to subtract the kimono, excuse me, the aso-oke width from that. So that leaves us at 36 inches. I'll add 1 extra inch to that because of the folding. There's going to be a hem that we will do. And please don't forget, you also add that extra 1 inch for hemming to the sleeves. Okay, All right, so I just hold my tape starting from the shoulder line and I came down to 37 inches and marked it. Then I really straight line across, and that would be the amount of Ankara that we'll be using. Okay, so we'll come back to these 1.5 inches that we marked here, and we'll connect all those points with a straight line. Okay, so now we'll just draw a slant line to connect to the neck width like this. Now it's time to cut. First thing, as always, is to start with the back neckline. So we'll quickly cut that out and then cut the rest of the dress, the kimono rather. Then I had to open up this end because of the fold. Then you need to quickly take out one piece, and that's one you took out to be your back piece. Now for this front, we are going to open it up because when we cut out this area, you're going to end up with two front pieces. All right, now the next thing is to join at the shoulders. That's the back piece facing me right side up, and placing the two front pieces right sides on top of each other. And then I'll join at the shoulder with a straight line, a straight stitch across just like this. When you're done, this is what you should have. I used 1/2 inch sewing allowance to do that. Now it's time to sew the aso-oke from the collar down to the end. Before we can do that, we need to determine the length of aso-oke fabric that we'll be needing. So I fold the kimono half into half like this, making sure that the shoulder seams are right on top of each other, like just facing each other directly. Okay, so that we can get the exact midpoint of the back neckline. So I just straighten it out with my fingers, pinch it there at the middle and give it a small notch so that I'll always know that that's the middle. Then I use my tape, holding it at that midpoint, and I'll just stretch it down till I get to the end of my fabric. And whatever I get, I'm going to multiply by 2 because this is just one side of the fabric, right? So you're going to do that by 2 so that you can get for the other side. I always like to go higher, so instead of using 41.5, I used 42 and double that, so that's 48. So I've cut out the desired length, and the width that I'm working with is 5 inches. Now we're going to iron it, and this is how we're doing it. Fold 1/2 inch up, fold 1/2 inch down, like on the two ends lengthwise of the aso-oke, and give it a really good press. Then fold the entire piece in half. Okay, making sure that those 1/2 inches are right on top of each other, and give it another good press. After the folding, you will now fold again the aso-oke in half. I also want to get the middle so that I would sew it correctly. Now let me show you how we're going to sew it. Now that chalk I marked there is going to tell me where the middle is. Then I'll take the notched area on the Ankara, place it right underneath the chalk area, and then you can see that I am putting the Ankara fabric in the middle of the aso-oke, sort of like sandwiching it. Make sure you get a good hold of the aso-oke, of the Ankara fabric inside the aso-oke. I use pins to secure mine for a start, but as you sew along, don't be in a hurry, don't need to rush. There's no rush in destiny. Okay, so make sure you sew and stop, sew and stop. You're stopping because you want to really fix the Ankara in the middle so that you don't miss any part underneath. Now that we are done sewing, this is what we have. Very neat, right? Thank you. Okay, so the next thing will be to attach the aso-oke to the sides. Remember to complete the sleeves like we said at the beginning. So I It's just two basic things. Measure out the Ankara piece so that you know the length. So we're measuring on one side. Whatever we get, we'll double it. That's the full length that will go round. Okay. After measurement, the next thing is going to be hemming. We need to hem this raw edge of our Ankara fabric. So that's really simple and straightforward. I just flip my fabric over to the wrong side because that's where we'll be working on. So I fold like half an inch in and fold again so that I properly conceal the raw edges. And then just run a straight stitch from one end to the other and you're done. Of course, you're going to do the same thing on both sides. Alright, so now that we're done, the next thing will be to sew the aso-oke on the right side. Okay, you just place the aso-oke on top of the hemming that we made just now and run a straight stitch from one end to the other side. Repeat on the other sleeve as well. As you're sewing, please make sure that the aso-oke properly conceals the thread, like the sewing that we just made for the hem right now. So just place it right on top and sew it. You don't want to see the hemming when you're done. Okay, our kimono is coming together really fast. Now, the next step would be to sew the aso-oke to the bottom of the kimono. Just like we did before, you determine the length and then you cut out the aso-oke that you'll be needing. Then you go back to your kimono and hem the raw edges. So that's what I'm doing right here. I run a straight stitch across to hem it. And after hemming, you now sew the aso-oke on top of it on the right side. Now, this one, there's a little something that we're going to do in order to sew it. Okay, when you're going to cut out the aso-oke, please add like extra 2 inches to your desired length. Okay, this is because of this hemming that we're doing right here. So I first fold like half an inch and then fold half an inch again on top of the area that we need to sew. I don't know, does it make sense? Okay, I'm going to show you now. First, I fold half an inch like this. I take the part that I want to sew and fold again onto the side that we're going to start sewing from. Okay, it's not so difficult to understand. Then you can now start sewing. And when you get to the other end, you just quickly repeat the same thing. Here I had like excess aso-oke, so I just trimmed off the excess part, and let me just demonstrate again. First, you fold in half, you fold half an inch down, and now you like, I don't know, just watch what I'm doing. I believe you get it better. All right, so we are done. Now when you finish doing this, if you turn your work over to the wrong side, you will notice that the aso-oke is hanging loose like this other part that is not sewn. Now since I'm using a solid color of aso-oke and I'm using a matching thread, I just held that part down with a straight stitch. You can use hemming gum, you can tack it if you want, but this one is faster. So here are my pockets. I just took a piece of aso-oke and this is what I did. Folded it in half and sewed the Ankara inside. And for the size, the dimensions, I use 9 inch by 10 inches. It's a little too big when you start, but you're going to see why I cut it really big. To find where to place it, I came down 18 inches from the top, and from the aso-oke in the middle, I came in by 2.5 inches. Now that is the point that I'm going to use as reference. Make sure you're sewing on only the front piece, please, so you don't join the front and the back piece together. And this is how you fold. I fold it 2 times. Give it a really good press before I sew. I folded it 2 times because I really wanted to conceal the raw edges, because guys, aso-oke freeze so fast. So after you attach the pockets, the very last thing will be to join the sides. I came down by 10 inches and I ran a straight stitch on top of the aso-oke from the 10-inch down from the Jesus voiceovers. So 10-inch down from the shoulder, straight stitch straight down to that point where the two aso-okes meet at the bottom. And with that, guys, our kimono is ready. Whew. Guys, this was really fast and easy to make, and I hope you're going to try it, especially if you're a beginner. I hope you really give it a try, and please let me know what you think when you're done. And I'm sure you can tell I was having too much fun because of my quirky dance steps. So please do let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate, and I hope you turn on the notification bell so that when I upload, you will be notified. So till next time, guys. Bye. Okay, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. So bye.